Coming up on WFT Midday, a potential deal to keep TikTok up and running in the U.S. The deal President Trump announced within the last 90 minutes and the next steps to ensure it happens before Wednesday's deadline.
Florida teachers' social media posts are under close watch. How the Charlie Kirk assassination could impact their careers.
Defending her four-legged friend, a woman fended off an unexpected attacker, a Florida Gator. WFT's Midday starts right now.
Watching WUFT Midday.
New details are emerging about the ideology behind the alleged shooter of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk. This is WUFT Midday. I'm Isabella Heupel.
And I'm Nicole Muscolino. And in Washington, over the weekend, tributes took place, including a vigil Sunday night at the Kennedy Center. WUFT-TV details how security remains on top of mind for lawmakers and the president.
As crowds gather to pay tribute to conservative activist Charlie Kirk, charges are expected to be filed Tuesday against the alleged shooter, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, says Utah's Governor Spencer Cox.
He does come from a conservative family, but his ideology was very different than his family.
State records show Robinson is not affiliated with a political party, nor did he vote in the two most recent general elections. Kirk was critical of transgender people and trans rights, and Governor Cox says Robinson disliked Kirk and his viewpoints, part of the pieces of information gathered during interviews with loved ones, including the suspect's former roommate, who he was in a relationship with.
A boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female, so we know that piece. I will say that that person has been very cooperative.
But he says that's not the case with the suspect, who's not cooperating. The governor adding the roommate had no idea about Robinson's possible plans. Meanwhile, in Washington,
trying to calm the nerves.
The unease around security for members of Congress continues as some cancel events or move them indoors.
When Charlie Kirk was shot, I said to somebody immediately, that could be you or me.
Plans for a massive memorial are underway for this Sunday, and it's expected to draw thousands, including President Trump.
I'm going to be going to Charlie's, I guess you'd call it a funeral. There's the small one. I said, can we do the big one? Because we're going to give him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is a big deal.
The movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen.
Kirk's wife spoke publicly for the first time, calling her husband a martyr and vowing to continue his legacy, which has gained even more support after his assassination. In Washington, WUFT-TV NBC News.
The Florida Department of Education has issued a warning to teachers against posting negative comments on social media about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Thursday, the Deputy Secretary of State posted on X about plans to take action against foreigners who he says glorify violence and hatred. They say some Florida educators were making despicable comments about the assassination. First Amendment lawyer Allison Steele says, you may not like what's being said, but the law protects it to an extent.
Public school teachers do give up and do surrender some of their First Amendment protections. The Constitution doesn't tolerate that sort of targeting or that sort of broad and discriminatory prohibition.
A Florida Atlantic University professor was put on leave after making comments on social media about Charlie Kirk's death.
A cool start to your mornings as neighbors in north central Florida got a nice taste of fall. UF forecaster Aiden Wacksman joins us live in the weather studio.
Nicole, we are getting a little bit cooler right now. We're going to heat up a little bit today, but in terms of our nighttime temperatures, those are going to stay really, really nice out there. 81 in Gainesville at the airport right now. Most of us staying in those high 70s, low 80s with some dry conditions as well. Take a look at some of these dew points. 64 degrees in Gainesville, dew point, the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. 64 in Marion County. So we're staying really dry out there. Some cool, dry weather, a nice feel of fall for once. A nice break from some of those crazy summer temperatures we experienced over the last month, a couple of months or so. Northeast winds at 9 miles an hour, staying pretty nice out there. You can see overhead on campus, partly cloudy skies, a great day to get out there. Coming up, I'll have an outlook on the tropics and let you know how much longer this cold spell could last.
Tampa police say one person died and 5 others were injured when shots rang out at an apartment complex early Thursday morning. Police responded to the scene just after 1 a.m. and found 3 victims outside. 3 other victims were later identified after they reported being shot and that they were on the way to the hospital. A 17-year-old man who was transported to the hospital died after arriving in critical condition. An investigation found that all 6 victims were outside when they were shot. Police believe this incident may have been the result of a previous dispute, and an investigation is underway to identify any suspects and motives. Police in Orlando are investigating an assault near Pulse nightclub where they say an activist was targeted. Investigations say the suspect was heard shouting slurs and making obscene hand gestures, as David Jones reports. The person also removed trans and rainbow flags and threw them into oncoming traffic.
Shot a flag and just got to fighting.
This video was taken from inside of the Dunkin' on the corner of Esther and Orange Ave.
I know that this is an escalation of his usual behavior.
The man is known to the activist he attacked, who says the group coming out to polls to chalk on the sidewalks is a peaceful, non-violent group.
I'm just trying to stop him so that I can get police on the matter and stop this from escalating further.
Activists tell WESH 2 the man pulled up to the poll site while they were across the street at Dunkin'. They say he then pulled flags out of the ground at the poll site and threw them into traffic. When the activist went to retrieve the flags, they say he attacked.
He has been saying the entire time we should all die. We're violent. So he's making threats already. It won't be hard for him to acquire a weapon.
Orlando police responded, took statements, took photos of bruising. From the video and from cameras in the area, they were able to get the man's license plate. And activists say it was his car, that he drives it by regularly. The activist who was attacked is one of the people arrested for chalking on the former Rainbow Crosswalk.
The way he was talking leads me to believe that he was, encouraged by the president's statements after Charlie Kirk's passing, specifically calling us violent at the Pulse Memorial. Like, I'm drawing love over hate over there.
School leaders in Alachua County will discuss district safety and security today. ACPS is holding a meeting this afternoon that will include first responders and emergency management officials. Officials say the meeting is held at the district office and will discuss state requirements related to school safety. It's at 2 p.m. and WFT will have a team in attendance and bring you results of those meetings at WFT's First at 5. And the ACPS announcement comes after the Gainesville Police Department announced an increased presence at Howard Bishop Middle School. GPD announced on their Facebook page they were aware of threats made to the school on Northeast 9th Street. They are asking anyone with information about the threats to call them or submit an anonymous tip through Crime Stoppers.
A water boil advisory is in effect for Marion County. The notice is for Lakeview Hills, which includes Lake Weir High School. Residents are encouraged to boil any water used for drinking, cooking, or brushing teeth. Marion County Utilities will notify customers once the water is safe to drink again.
Lily Splash Pad in Ocala is temporarily closed after experiencing damages from a recent storm. Repairs are expected to take 3 to 4 weeks. But if you're looking for somewhere else to cool off, Citizens Circle Splash will remain open from sunrise to sunset all week.
Athletes 50 and over are in the midst of some fun and friendly competition at the Gainesville Annual Senior Games. The games kicked off over the weekend, sponsored by the Hispanic Communications Association and hosted by the Gainesville Sports Commission. Participants will compete in events such as golf, archery, pickleball, and more over the course of 2 weekends. Associate Director Emily Stillwell hopes that seniors come out and have fun.
We hope, honestly, that they just have a great time. We're here to promote health and wellness and camaraderie amongst them. A lot of them, you'll see, they come out and they're really competitive and they're here and this is their sport that they've done since they were younger. And then other ones just come out.
Archery, pickleball, and swimming were held on Saturday, and the games will continue into this upcoming weekend.
Alligators are a part of life in Central Florida, and small dogs are easy prey. But as Chris Hurst reports, one owner decided to fight back and protect her pooch.
Lazy slug.
4-month-old Dax probably has no idea his owner, Danny Wright,
But anyone would do it.
saved his life last week.
But we've never seen an alligator back here.
She took Dax behind her house in Land O'Lakes and walked along this stagnant creek.
I heard a squeal, and I got pulled. So the alligator had him by his air tag and drags him.
She says an alligator bit Dax's collar and dragged him into the water. Then Wright fought back.
And I just punched and punched and punched, and I punched him in the eye enough that he kind of let go, like he unclamped a little, and I pulled out, but his teeth were like here and just drug down my arm.
It may look like algae or maybe even astroturf, but it's actually floating water moss, and it provided a great cover for that 5-foot gator.
Soon trappers and FWC
Can't even believe this happened to my life today.
came and caught the gator.
I freaking fought an alligator and won.
Right, recording it safely inside her porch.
Be careful with your dogs. You know, these alligators are no joke. I mean, 15 feet he came out to get him, and I didn't see him.
And she has a reminder for dog owners to avoid taking them anywhere close to water.
I learned to be more alert. Constantly walk around. I'm looking at my phone all the time. Leave your phone at home, you know. Pay attention.
Because you never know what might be lurking. But in Florida, if it's wet, you can bet a gator is close by.
Alligator attacks on dogs are not tracked, but wildlife officials say it's common for them to be targets.
We could see Tropical Storm Gabrielle form by the end of the week. I'll have an outlook on the tropics and your full forecast coming up next.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. It's shaping up to be a nice day as we take a look on I-75 through Paynes Prairie. The Sunshine State is out as we tick up towards the 80s this noon hour. UF forecaster Aiden Wacksman is tracking the temperature swing from cool mornings to the warmer afternoons.
If you were up heading to work early this morning, you might have needed a jacket out there. Some of these temperatures in the mid-50s in Suwannee County, Columbia County. We're talking some really cool temperatures for this time of year. Us here in Gainesville, about 58 degrees, so even for us, we're still in the 50s and not even getting to the 60s. Right now, we've definitely heated up a bit, though. We're at 82 here in Gainesville at the airport, 81 down in Marion County. Most of us staying in those 80s right now, as we should get around the high 80s a little bit later today. No showers and storms in the picture. Those are well off the coast. You take a look at the land here, just not a shower or storm in sight. Definitely some clouds, but no rain. So no need for the umbrella today. You can see all this dry air moving in right now to parts of north central Florida, and that's a big reason for why it's feeling so cool outside, and also why we're not seeing some of those showers and storms popping up. Later today, Gainesville could even see 90-degree temperatures here at the airport, parts of Alachua County, but most of us staying in those high 80s, and along the coast some onshore flow, so staying a little bit cooler out there. It is feeling like fall for a good portion of the rest of the week. In Ocala, low temperatures staying in those low to mid 60s, maybe getting toward the upper 60s by the end of the week, but overall staying pretty cool out there for this time of year, a little bit below average even by the end of the week when we're hitting those 68, 69 degree temperatures. Tuesday morning, 63 degrees in Gainesville and staying in those low 60s for most of us, and along the coast a little bit warmer because some more humidity along the coast, but for those of us inland it'll be a little bit cooler. We are watching the tropics. 40% chance of us seeing some tropical development in the Atlantic. We do see some convection here, but nothing really solid formed as of yet. We don't know where this will move yet, and there's no need to worry about it because you can see this tropical timeline. There's a lot of time before we get a better idea of what a tropical system may do, so not even a great picture, even at the 4 to 7 day outlook. Still looking like it could be a little bit unpredictable, so no need to worry about that, but we will keep our eye on it for you. Staying a little bit cooler for the rest of the night, 63 degrees tomorrow morning, and no clouds in the area, so should be looking like a really nice night out there in early morning hours as well. Could see some showers pop up south of us, maybe a scattered shower in parts of north central Florida, but pretty unlikely with a lot of this dry air sticking around. You can see this dry air just moving through most of the area all the way into Wednesday, and still on Thursday could see more of that dry air stick around. A high pressure system could move in to parts of the southeast and make that dry air stay with us for a little bit longer. Looking like it'll be a great week ahead. I'll have one final look at the weather coming up in the next 10 minutes or so.
Prices consumers pay for a variety of goods and services moved higher than expected in August. The Consumer Price Index posted a seasonally adjusted 0.4% increase for the month, the biggest gain since January, putting the annual inflation rate at 2.9%. The Labor Department also reported a surprise increase in weekly unemployment compensation filings to a seasonally adjusted 263,000.
It remains a leading cause of death for youth in the U.S. In 2023, motor vehicle crashes killed more than 1,000 children ages 14 and younger.
Many of the children who are injured or killed in a car crash are either completely unrestrained or using a restraint improperly.
Dr. Manisha Agarwal with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says the most important thing parents can do to keep children safe on the road is to use the right seat in the right way. First, make sure to buy the right car seat. Very young children need to ride in rear-facing seats as long as possible until they hit the maximum height and weight suggested on the seat. Then, a forward-facing seat is the next step, followed by a booster seat. Check the seat's manual for maximum height and weight limit.
And if you've thrown out the instruction manual, most of these car seat manufacturers have really helpful websites where you can find that manual and figure out what that height and weight limit is.
Next, make sure the seat is properly installed. The Safe Kids Worldwide organization says use either the seatbelt or lower anchors to secure it. Don't use both at the same time. Forward-facing seats need a tether with the seatbelt or lower anchors. A properly fitted harness can also provide protection. Agarwal says a child passenger safety technician found at some places like fire stations can help make sure your seat is set up correctly.
You may be the world's safest driver, but you cannot account for every other human being out there on the road.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
TikTok's ban risk has persisted, but things are looking up between Washington and Beijing. Back on September 8th, the U.S. Treasury Secretary said that the U.S. and China struck a framework for a TikTok deal, specifying the commercial terms have been settled. The nation's Commerce Secretary says that President Trump favors TikTok for its communication with young people, but American ownership is necessary to seal the deal.
You may have noticed beef is costing you more at the grocery store. Prices have risen 11% in just the last year. Cattle experts say this is because the national herd size has significantly decreased. Farmers are trying to balance how they manage their cattle while still getting top dollar. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says the cattle industry moves in cycles, usually lasting 8 to 12 years.
The rising popularity of electric bikes and scooters has a group of U.S. doctors urging caution. The American College of Surgeons says it's seeing a surge in injuries across the country, particularly among children and teens. In an earlier report, Mandy Gaither details the growing concern and how to stay safe.
It's a popular way to get around. Electric scooters and bikes can get you where you're going fast. But doctors warn the rising number of them on the road is causing another kind of surge.
When we get our trauma alerts, a lot of times I'm thinking, okay, is it another e-bike or e-scooter injury? Because they become more and more common.
Pediatric trauma surgeon Dr. Mark Levy with Orlando Health says his hospital alone has seen a 250% increase in emergency room visits from e-bike and e-scooter accidents. But the American College of Surgeons says it's a problem nationwide, with more than 20,000 people hurt while riding electric bikes every year. About 3,000 of those require hospitalization.
E-scooters and e-bikes can attain speeds as high as 20 to 30 miles per hour. Some e-bikes can go as fast as 50 miles per hour.
Levy says head injuries are the most common, and there have also been deaths. He says many times riders he sees in the ER either didn't have a helmet or weren't wearing the right one. As speeds increase, Levy says a stronger helmet with a higher rating is needed for protection.
This helmet is rated a level 3 helmet, which would be up to 28 miles per hour. And you can see it has a kind of a full shell around it that protects the head. It's also harder than the other one and is better for these higher rates of speed.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Dr. Levy recommends checking helmet ratings before buying one. One place to check is with Virginia Tech Helmet Ratings. In collaboration with the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, it has evaluated nearly 300 bike helmets. You can find results on their website.
Coming up next when Midday returns, the Gators looking for answers after struggling on offense for a second straight week against a top 25 opponent.
How DJ Lagway will need to shake off Saturday's poor performance before they head down to South Florida to take on Miami.
This is your Midday Sports. I'm Abigail Dressback. The The Gators had hoped to get back on track after the disappointing loss against USF. The Gator offense was struggling to connect, and with penalties on top of all of that, Florida fell short to LSU 20-10. Gators quarterback DJ Lagway, who missed majority of summer practices, really struggled offensively. He threw 5 interceptions in the LSU game. Florida did manage to get on the board, with their only touchdown of the game being to wide receiver Aiden Mizell. To add insult to injury, Lagway threw a pick 6, increasing LSU's lead to 10. Gators head coach Billy Napier is sticking with Lagway, and Lagway knows what he has to do.
Say just turnover. Didn't play turnover-free ball, and every time you have 5 turnovers in a game, you can't expect to win. I got to play better. And like Coach Napier always said, this is a practice sport. You got to practice. You got to play it. You got to get through it and continue to work, and we're going to get better. Coach Napier.
Napier is under heavy fire after being 1-2. Support for him is pretty rocky these days. The only good thing Florida has going for them right now is the defense has only allowed 2 touchdowns all season. Here's what's next for the Gators. Florida has only 2 more games against unranked teams for the rest of their season. The next 3 teams that the Gators will play are all ranked in the top 10. First, they travel to number 4 Miami this weekend. Then they're back in the swamp against number 8 Texas. Finally, they will face number 10 Texas A&M in College Station. Join us back here later as First at 5 discusses what Napier is saying today and more Gators football. I'm Abigale Dressback, and that's your Midday Sports.
Now let's take a look at what's coming up on First at 5 on Channel 5.
We're bringing you updates on Alachua County Public Schools safety meeting, plus eyes are on Supreme Court as it considers overturning Trump's tariffs. We'll tell you how the decision would impact local businesses and affect other losses for the Florida Gators fans. Want to know how Billy Napier will turn this season around? That and more coming up on First at 5.
Gosh, I'm really hoping that this cold weather will last. Aiden, before we go, tell us one last weather update.
Yeah, cold weather will stick around for a little bit, at least at night. Those daytime temperatures should be about average, but cooling off at nighttime into those mid-60s, some of us getting even into the lower 60s. So might even be time to get that jacket out, guys.
Thanks for joining us for WFT Midday. We're back here tomorrow for another edition.
We will see you later today for First at 5 on Channel 5. Have a great afternoon.